In 2024, millions of people followed her daily life. She posted outfit photos, shared emotional captions, partnered with major fashion brands, and replied to fans in the comments. She looked real, sounded real, felt real. There was just one detail missing. She wasn't a person. No birth certificate, no childhood, no physical existence. Just code, rendering software, and a team managing her personality from behind the scenes. And most of her followers never realized it. The idea began quietly. Brands wanted consistent spokespeople who didn't age, cancel themselves, or post unpredictably. Digital artists began experimenting with hyper-realistic 3D characters. Soon, accounts appeared on Instagram featuring stunning models with flawless skin, curated lives, and carefully crafted personalities. One of the most well-known examples is Lil Miquela, a computer-generated character who amassed millions of followers while partnering with luxury fashion labels. Her captions felt intimate, her posts felt candid, but behind the screen was a creative studio controlling every detail. And the audience didn't always know that. What makes virtual influencers compelling isn't just their appearance, it's the storytelling. They post about heartbreak, anxiety, friendships, social issues. They comment on world events. They argue with other virtual characters. They build narrative arcs. The line between fiction and authenticity blurs intentionally. Some accounts openly state they're digital. Others bury that detail deep in bios or interviews. Casual viewers scrolling quickly may never realize they're looking at a fully synthetic persona. The realism is high enough that the brain fills in the rest. Humans form emotional attachments easily. When someone appears repeatedly in your feed, speaks directly to you, and shares vulnerable moments, your brain treats it as a social relationship. Psychologists call this a parasocial bond, a one-sided emotional connection with a media figure. But when the media figure is entirely artificial, something shifts. There's no unpredictable humanity, no accidental moments. Every reaction is curated. Every flaw is intentional. Yet followers still comment as if they're speaking to a living person. The emotional investment is real, even if the influencer is not. Virtual influencers are typically managed by creative agencies. Teams of designers, writers, marketers, and strategists decide what the character believes, wears, and promotes. In some cases, AI tools assist with caption generation or engagement analysis. But the person remains fictional. This raises a subtle question. When you follow a virtual influencer, who are you actually engaging with? A marketing team? An algorithm? A brand? Unlike traditional influencers, there's no single accountable human face behind the persona. Major brands have partnered with digital influencers because they offer stability and total control. A virtual personality won't miss a shoot, won't tweet something controversial at 2 a.m., and won't age out of a demographic. From a corporate perspective, it's efficient. From a cultural perspective, it's strange. Advertising has always used fictional characters, but those characters didn't usually live ongoing, interactive lives in your feed. Virtual influencers do. They respond. They evolve. They simulate growth. Not all virtual influencers are clearly labeled. While some, like Lil Miquela, have public interviews explaining their fictional nature, others are less transparent. AI-generated models now appear across platforms like TikTok with minimal disclosure. The realism improves every year. As generative AI advances, distinguishing real from synthetic becomes harder. That creates a new type of ambiguity online. If identity can be fabricated convincingly, what does authenticity mean anymore? There's another layer to this story. Human influencers burn out. They step away. They quit. Virtual influencers don't. They can post 24/7. They can travel globally in a day. They don't need rest. In theory, they can exist indefinitely. An account could continue for decades without interruption. What happens when a digital personality outlives the generation that created it? Does it become cultural folklore? Corporate property? Digital ghost? Virtual influencers are not illegal. They're not secret conspiracies. They're the logical extension of a digital culture built on curated identity. But they reveal something deeper about the modern internet. Presence no longer guarantees existence. You can scroll through someone's life every day and never realize there was never a someone there. Last Seen Online often follows accounts that disappear. This time, it followed accounts that were never alive to begin with. The question isn't whether virtual influencers will continue. They will. The question is whether, years from now, we'll remember which personalities were real and which ones were code. If you enjoyed this true story, then please give us a like and drop your thoughts below. Because sometimes the most interesting part of the story is what you think happened. If you enjoy stories about digital footprints, quiet disappearances, and identities that blur the line between real and artificial, hit subscribe and join us for the next investigation.